after the test. However, they are not short of concerns.
I believe government has not done much in terms of organizing the the same activity as where the same amplitude tests will take place. So I think there's a bit of disorganizement that has occurred since yesterday and today. We've not seen any improvement in terms of how people are being handled. And at the same time, I haven't seen census officials. I haven't seen either of them.
By broadcast time, these hopeful candidates had not yet heard anything from Zamstad district officials, and out of this huge number, it is reportedly that only 328 are expected to be picked.
It's very surprising that we are spending 2 days without seeing any progress going on. So what we are requesting the Zamstad, please, can you pull up your socks, make sure that things are done in order. What we have observed that there is no planning. There is totally disorganization everywhere.
No information that they have given us that you are writing this time, but there is no information. We don't know. We are blinded, we don't know anything. There is no even an update to say that you are writing this time. No one have come, is not around. Even the readers, we don't know around.
They hope that the test would commence during the day. As it is said, numbers don't lie. Hence, this huge turnout is a clear indication of Zambia's high unemployment levels. Muya Mukumbuta, MUVI TV News, Livingstone.
Meanwhile, the 2022 census aptitude test for enumerators and supervisors and zonal coordinators applicants in several parts of the country went into Thursday as authorities could not cope with the numbers. On Wednesday, in Lusaka, a check by MUVI TV News at Heroes National Stadium found a considerable number of applicants writing the test, and Zambia Statistics Agency interim head Mulenga Musepa says the administering of the aptitude test was progressing well and was expected to finish by the end of Thursday. Mr. Musepa says the exercise had moved into Thursday because of the challenges of the venue due to huge numbers. He says elsewhere in the country, the exercise had been concluded while other places were also expected to conclude Thursday.
The 2022 census Zambia Statistics Agency aptitude tests that have attracted masses across the country entered into Thursday. The exercise was delayed on Wednesday as authorities in several parts of the country were outnumbered and struggled for venues. In Lusaka, the test started around 14 hours Wednesday, and around 23 hours it was postponed to Thursday. A check by MUVI TV News Thursday morning at Heroes Stadium found a number of applicants writing their aptitude test. Interim head Zambia Statistics Agency Mulenga Musepa says the exercise was expected to conclude by end of the day.
You can see the number of empty chairs there. This is not the way it was yesterday to something. So we've quite cleared a number, as you see, since this began. And my expectation, I brought in some more stuff and some extra tablets, quite a lot within a short period of time. So my hope, working as a team, we should be able to finish. And we have to finish today.
Mr. Musepa said the exercise moved into Thursday because it delayed to start on Wednesday.
Since the recruitment committee to do the selection. As you are aware, Zamstad is not involved in the selection of the enumerators who are here applying for enumerator position, as well as the supervisor position. This will be done from the respective districts. So we want to push so that we quickly finish and then give time to the recruitment committee headed by the district census officer, that's the district commission, to now finalize the list which now will be submitted to Zamstad.
The Zambia Statistics Agency is expected to start training successive applicants by Saturday for 10 days before commencement of data collection on August 18. For MUVI TV News, I'm Kaptula Afias in Lusaka.
An identified visibly pregnant mobile money operator in Ijoma district, Southern Province, caused drama Thursday afternoon after she climbed in a council truck to remove her booth from the vehicle after officers from the local authority had earlier confiscated it. The expectant woman was heard uttering unpalatable language towards council officers for attempting to take her booth even after proving to them that she had a valid trading license. She castigates the local authority of being unfair for trying to confiscate her booth, stating that she has been going to the council for a long time trying to show where to mount her cubicle, but to no avail. The woman is seen jumping on the council truck and using her hands to push it off the vehicle, but to the delight of encouraging onlookers, with officers from the local authority watching on. And a passerby, Alex Silimi, confronted the council officers, condemning them for removing mobile money booths whilst reminding them that individuals depend on the business for survival. Silimi charges the local authorities being economically unjust to citizens who have found survival alternatives, stating that government cannot employ everyone. He accuses the Ijoma Municipal Council of having an organized agenda to cause the local people to rise up against the government by removing them from the streets without an alternative. And a crowd of traders who gathered at the scene accused the United Party for National Development (UPND) of turning against them after winning elections, adding they pretended to act with kindness towards them whilst in opposition. This is according to Baita FM monitored in Lusaka.
I lost my money here. I paid 1.6. I had a deposit here. Then I didn't get my food. What do you want in my life? Last time your collect officers, they are calling me to give them my so that I can put a food. I refuse to collect it.
Anti-Corruption Commission Director General Gilbert Piri says the total number of investigated cases concluded this year is 188 out of 1,160 cases, with 17 arrests effected. Out of these reports, 124 reports contained elements of corruption, of which 94 reports were authorized for investigation, whilst the remaining 30 reports did not have sufficient details of the corruption offense to warrant investigation to be conducted. Board Chairperson Musa Mwenye is hopeful to the review of the National Anti-Corruption Policy will be finalized as soon as possible.
In the second quarter of 2022, the Anti-Corruption Commission received a total of 169 reports of suspected corruption. Out of these reports, 124 contained elements of corruption, of which 94 were authorized for investigations, while the remaining 30 reports did not have sufficient details of the corruption offense to warrant investigations to be conducted. ACC Director General Gilbert Piri says the total number of investigated cases concluded this year is 188 out of 1,160 cases, with 17 arrests effected.
By the end of the quarter, the Commission concluded a total of 163 investigation cases. 6 arrests were also made countrywide. The Commission had 10 cases before the courts of law. 1 case was pending judgment. 1 case was pending appeal, and 1 acquittal was recorded during the quarter. There were 35 cases before court, and out of these 4 have been concluded, resulting in 3 convictions and 1 acquittal.
The Commission receives reports from the Financial Intelligence Center, which monitors suspicious transactions, and so far, for the year 2022, the Commission has received 5 reports. Board Chairperson Musa Mwenye says he is hopeful that review of the national anti-corruption policy will be finalized as soon as possible.
We have a national anti-corruption policy, which, as you may be aware, has been undergoing review in consultation with all stakeholders. We are hopeful that the policy will be finalized soon, as it will spell out different responsibilities for each one of us, so that we can collectively achieve greater impact in curtailing this scourge.
The duo was speaking during a media breakfast held Thursday morning in Lusaka. Meanwhile, ACC Director for Corruption Prevention, Brenda Mungalaba, says the Commission has been prompted to initiate a corruption risk assessment at the Ministry of Health.
A risk assessment can be done at the request of the organization or at the initiation of the Anti-Corruption Commission. Now, when an organization requests that a risk assessment be conducted, it is not merely because they feel they have corruption issues in their institution, but it is also a cleansing mechanism just to seal any potential loopholes for corruption. And when the ACC initiates a risk assessment, we target institutions that handle huge amounts of public funds and also those that have very high interaction with members of the public.
Virginia Chilongo, MUVI TV News, Lusaka.
We'll now take our first break. We'll be back soon.
As COVID-19 cases keep rising, many business entities are affected and their revenue keeps going down. But together, we can fight COVID-19. Rumpi Enterprises provides you and your organization the safety you require in these hard times of the COVID-19 pandemic by using effective disinfectants procedures such as knockdown and residual disinfecting that helps prevent and get rid of COVID-19. We do knockdown and residual disinfecting procedures for homes, offices, hospitals, churches, and many more. Protect yourself and the people around you and get your business running with our powerful trusted disinfectants. Call Rumpi Enterprises on 0955 767835 or 0955 992230, or come to the 3rd floor, room 3, Tazara House, corner of Dedan Kimati and Independence Avenue. Follow us on Facebook, Rumpi Enterprises Limited. Always remember to observe the COVID-19 guidelines. Mask up, sanitize, social distancing, and staying.
Are you at home and want an easier and faster way to access and manage your Airtel account? Download the My Airtel app from your app store. Open the app, enter your phone number, click on Request OTP, enter your one-time PIN, and congratulations! You can now use the My Airtel app to top up, pay bills, send money, and much more. Be smart, be safe.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back. The news continues. Now, the United Party for National Development UPND member Rene Hajombwa Thursday morning made a follow-up on a docket police forwarded to the National Prosecution Authority DPP involving the late Obed Kasongo, who was murdered during the run by-elections. To his surprise, he was informed that no action has been taken yet. The document has been shelved for over 2 months. After making the discovery that no investigation and prosecution have been instituted, Mr. Hajombwa expressed disappointment at the snail pace taken by the National Prosecution Authority and PA officers to conclude the matter. Mr. Hajombwa called on the Minister of Justice to ensure he puts his house in order, especially the Department of National Prosecution Authority, who take time to institute prosecution on cases. He says Obed Kasongo's case is one of the many cases that has been shelved at NPA.
We had asked the police to invite Mr. Chishimba Kambuzi to tell us the person who killed Mr. Kasongo last time. And a few weeks ago, we were told by the same police to say the docket was forwarded here, and we decided to come and make a follow-up on the same docket. To our surprise, the docket, even went missing, but finally we got it here, and we've asked them to quickly take it to the DPP because it had not reached the attention of the DPP yet. The concerned colleagues here is, the many deaths that and clear death that no one is able to explain. And we're expecting that our colleagues serving in these departments of government must quicken their speed of how they're operating. Because we believe that the family for Mr. Kasongo, up to now, they would want to know who killed their father. He was a father, he was a husband. The wife is interested to know who murdered his husband. And up to date, we don't know. And today, since the police, said it's here, we came here to inquire. And to our shock, it took a bit of time for them to confirm, to say the docket is here. And we asked them to quickly send it to the DPP, because the DPP up to now, she did not receive this docket. So this means that this is how a lot of cases have been dying a natural death in the past. But today we feel we needed to up our game because the UPND, we believe to say justice delayed is justice denied to our people. And we want justice in this case quickly, and we call upon the DPP. We call upon a DPP to say, we need you, madam, and we need you to do justice. We need the people who killed to be brought to book. If Madam Mumbi Pili, she's in prison today for merely opening her mouth that she was there when the act happened, what about the person?
A journey that started about 4 months ago from Ethiopia to South Africa has been cut short by the Department of Immigration in Mbala. Department of Immigration Public Relations Officer Namati Nshinka has confirmed Mbala Immigration Office is holding 51 Ethiopian nationals in a suspected case of human trafficking. Mr. Nshinka says officers apprehended 49 of the 51 Ethiopians on Saturday, 30th July 2022 after receiving information of some Ethiopians captured at Senka village, which is about 140 kilometers from Mbala Central Business District, as they were heading to Nakonde using the Mbala-Nakonde Road. He reveals following another lead, the officers found 26 more Ethiopians at Twefwa village, bringing the number to 49. 2 days later, on 2nd August 2022, 2 Ethiopians were again apprehended after they entered Zambia through Lumi border illegally, bringing the total number of Ethiopians intercepted to 51. Meanwhile, the Mbala Immigration Office has detained 3 Zambians to assist with investigations.
The office is holding 51 Ethiopian nationals in a suspected case of human trafficking. The officers apprehended 49 of the 51 Ethiopians on 30th July 2022 after receiving information that some Ethiopians were apprehended at Senka village, 140 kilometers from Mbala Central Business District, as they were heading towards Nakonde using the Mbala-Nakonde Road. The immigration officers immediately rushed to the scene but initially failed to locate the said Ethiopians due to inconsistent and incoherent information from some informants, a possible indication that they had either been compromised or threatened. However, investigations revealed that the suspected prohibited immigrants were still in Senka village, prompting the officers to conduct door-to-door search for the suspects until they found 23 undocumented Ethiopians locked in a room of a house whose a known owner was absent. Following another lead, the officers found 26 more Ethiopians at Tefwa village, bringing the number to 49. 2 days later, on 2nd August 2022, 2 Ethiopians were apprehended after they entered Zambia illegally through Lumi border, bringing the total number of those intercepted to 51. During preliminary interviews with the 49 Ethiopians, the officers were informed that some unknown people had recruited the Ethiopians, luring them with promises of jobs in South Africa. They revealed that they left Ethiopia 4 months ago, embarking on a daunting, perilous journey to their promised land, passing through forest thickets, being fed every 3 days, and later transported in a containerized truck. They told the officers that when they reached Senka and Tefwa villages, an armed man forced them to ask for money from relatives via phone, failure to which they would not proceed to South Africa. The 2 other Ethiopians narrated a similar ordeal. Meanwhile, the Mbala Immigration Office has detained 3 Zambians.
A civil society organization has observed the need for Zambia to recognize sign language for purposes of achieving inclusivity. Ulendo Disability Organization Executive Director Alec Nyerenda says it is disheartening to see how people who depend on sign language find it difficult to interact in communities. Speaking during a graduation ceremony of 8 sign language interpreters in Livingstone, Mr. Nyerenda notes just like the country has 7 major languages, it should also ensure that it comes with measures aimed at teaching people basic sign language. He explains that by doing so, it will help people with hearing impairment feel part of the society.
Sign language has been a medium of communication which has not received much attention by society, hence making it difficult for people with hearing impairment to communicate effectively with other people. It is for this reason a Livingstone-based disability organization called Ulendo has embarked on a program of training members of the public sign language. Speaking during a graduation of the first set of learners in Livingstone, Ulendo Executive Director Alec Nyerenda has called for adoption of sign language as part of Zambia's main medium of communication.
In terms of a person who is deaf cannot be attended to by somebody who speaks their language. So for us as Ulendo, through you, Madam Coordinator, we want to advocate for the situation where sign language becomes recognized as a language in Zambia. We have many languages in Zambia. Sign language should be one of the languages nationally used, nationally recognized. The associations for the deaf and many others have been speaking about this for many years.
Mr. Nyerenda says this can be done through encouraging or offering of basic sign language to citizens so as to promote inclusiveness.
We need to talk to people in the language they understand and in the language they can respond to. And that comes to sign language use. So that is my message for today.
Zambia Agents for Persons with Disability Provincial Office has backed the training program as a step in the right direction.
Persons with hearing impairments have often lagged behind in almost all sectors of life, including the economic, social, cultural, just to mention that. This has led to their exclusion from most developmental activities. And all this can be largely attributed to the lack of professional sign language interpreters in most government, non-governmental and private institutions, just as Mr. Nyerenda was saying. That
sign language graduates are equally excited to be part of the inclusive movement.
And we managed to learn the basics in sign language, which has really benefited us as an organization, as individuals, Like right now, Response Network, we have children with disabilities that are under sponsorship. So we have girls that have hearing impairments.
With such programs being undertaken to teach citizens sign language, it is expected to bring about inclusiveness where people with hearing impairment can effectively communicate with everyone without challenges. Muya Mukumbuta, MUVI TV News, Livingstone.
Livingstone Tourism Association Chairman Hilary Kashempa has commended the Ministry of Tourism on its move to employ more Zambia Wildlife Authority ZAR officers. Mr. Kashempa says this will see a reduction in human-animal conflict incidences and protect both the people as well as the animals. He says it is important to come up with ways in which animals are not seen as threats by the people but as species that play a vital role in the environment. Energy expert Boniface Zulu has observed the need for Zambia to invest heavily in new energy for the country to take its rightful place in the global market. Speaking in a telephone interview, Engineer Zulu states the race to reduce clean energy has never been a greater detail than today, in that most regions, nations and private companies are putting resources together to maximize production of these systems. He regretted that Zambia, on the other hand, has not seized the opportunity to fully invest in alternative energy sources, seeing that the energy demand is huge and outweighs production, which is currently 3,800 megawatts that only supply 31% of the population. Engineer Zulu narrates that pre-feasibility studies to build solar factories in strategic points can enable the country move faster into frontiers of industrialization, electric mobility, cultural change, and general economic prosperity.
Government to bring up these solutions such as manufacturing of solar panels, as already the raw materials to produce these products, these solar panels are already available here in Zambia and are widely available because we use silicon to produce these solar panels. So I'm calling on the government, the Zambian government, to utilize the current energy experts as well as new energy science and technology engineers that have been trained in China to build these systems so that they can help the country to develop and even build on and teach future generations on how to produce these solar panels. The world is changing and Zambia must change with it. It's high time that we started utilizing.
We'll now take another set of commercials. We'll be back with more news.
Now experience 4G speeds on your 3G device with the Airtel 4G Pocket Wi-Fi.
With the country almost clocking a year since the voters took to the ballot in August 12 general elections, the United Party for National Development UPND youth leadership has stressed that many youths in the country have no regrets for ushering the party into government. Reflecting on the party's achievements in bettering the lives of youths, UPND Deputy National Youth Chairperson for Politics and Mobilization Trevor Mwinde says the party has both laid structural changes as well as implemented policies targeted at youths. Speaking in an interview with MUVI TV News, Mr. Mwinde says policies such as free education, various skills development programs, and empowerment through cooperatives will improve the lives of youths. He added that employment of about 40,000 civil servants in health and education has equally shown the party's commitment to improving the lives of youths.
We have noticed that
The TVETA under Ministry of Science and Technology is training people in entrepreneurship skills. The youths, women and male youths are being trained in plumbing, carpentry, metalwork and other life surviving skills, which now entails that we have seen a shift. Many of our youths are not only working out trainings that which will enable them to get jobs, but they are getting a lot of training that which will help them be entrepreneur, employers, and opportunity creators for others. That being done, it has got a multiplication effect in the economy in terms of how many youths will be in stable jobs, how many youths will also learn to do different hands-on jobs. And going into the future, we also want to propose to the government that there are certain subjects that which must be mandatory in schools. We know that 54.8% of the Zambian population is involved in agriculture. So that being the case, we want to believe that government can also introduce agriculture as a mandatory subject where most of our youths can also develop. We have taken a leaf from the Ukrainian situation, where a country as small as Ukraine could feed the whole of 30% or 40% of the grain basket of the world population was dependent on a small country. We as Zambians, we as African youths, we have also been called to a challenge by even the just recently held African Union Summit, where we were also tasked to think of engaging ourselves into serious agricultural opportunities that which will unlock our.
Mwese district of Luapula province is at 80% drug stability. Luapula Province Health Director Simon Kunda, who conducted a spot check at some health facilities in Mwese district, disclosed that the district is at 80% drug stability as essential drugs such as ARVs, tuberculosis and reproductive drugs are at 100% and others at 60%. And John Kasumba, Kashiva Rural Health Center in charge, says health facility has been receiving drugs from Zambia Medicines and Medical Supplies Agency, ZAMSA, continuously despite having unfinished infrastructure which had roof blown off. However, Mwese District Health Director Markford Chipili noted that the district's health budget is mainly focused on drugs and fuel, which is helping in having the necessary medicines in the health facilities within the district.
Sharing borders with the Democratic Republic of Congo, Mwese District is one of the districts within Luapula Province with one district hospital and a main hospital yet to be commissioned. Luapula Province Health Director Dr. Simon Kunda, who conducted a spot check on some health facilities in the district, says Mwese District is at 80% in terms of drug stability.
Of course, the drug situation is quite stable. I think the drug situation is about 80%. 80% stocked. I'm happy to report to you that at least the ARVs, TB drugs, reproductive health drugs, at least 100%. 100%. Yeah, you have stocked. I think even the others like antihypertensives, analgesics, I would say about 60%.
And Kashiva Rural Health Center in charge noted that they have continuously been receiving drug supplies from ZAMSA.
Drugs we're being supplied. Okay. We have the drugs.
Meanwhile, Mwese District Health Director Dr. Markford Chipili explains that currently their focus is on ensuring that the district has enough drugs.
Our budgets basically now are drugs and fuel.
Yes.
Mainly that, and then the interest for them, and supplementing on the electricity, because once we give them the interest, they buy electricity from there. We need to top up, because mostly their budgets may all go into buying electricity. You know that our facility, the health facilities, unfortunately, have not been put on like the way the houses are and everything.
As government is working on improving the health services, it is also important to ensure that the supply of drugs is continuous. Helen Chisha reporting for MUVI TV News in Mwenza district of Wapula province.
Northwestern Cultural Association Steering Committee Chairperson Webby Kamangala says there is need to engage traditional leaders to work in harmony with each other in order to foster and bring development to the province. Speaking at the signing ceremony of the Memorandum of Understanding between the two Northwestern Province Cultural Association, the Nshakwa Yabakaunde Cultural Association in Nshakwa and the Lunda Cultural Association Lucas on Thursday in Lusaka, Mr. Kamangala says the parties confirm their mutual understanding to formulate strategies to implement joint activities and fundraising ventures to help attain unity of purpose for the province. He says there is need to consider the mutual benefits and the need to strengthen the cooperation within the field of culture, development and unit with the aim to develop and promote all areas in Northwestern Province.
Carry out any other modalities as may be agreed upon by the parties. In spite of the above, so I want to emphasize this point that the document being signed today is just a statement of understanding and is not intended to create any legal binding or legal obligations. Both cultural associations will remain independent and shall enjoy autonomy as per their established constitutions. So,
speaking at the same event, Nshakwa Yabakaunde Cultural Association National Chairperson Dr. Jonathan Tambatamba revealed that the MOU is open to any cultural association in the province who wish to promote unity and development in the province.
The two associations were inspired by the call of His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, for Zambians to be united. And like in the immediate past government leadership, when talk for national unity was at variance with the actions that were being taken, President Hakainde Hichilema is walking the talk with regards to his call for national unity. And these actions by the President have greatly motivated the leadership and membership of the two associations and have contributed significantly to our conviction that we also had a duty as cultural associations of Northwestern Province to do our part within the realm of our mandate of promotion of culture and traditions.
And Lunda Cultural Association of Zambia President Anton Samhandu has this to say.
I know many of you are wondering as to why there are only two cultural associations signing this MOU. To answer your questions, allow me to mention that the two cultural associations are merely pioneering this process to create way for many more cultural associations to join in the near future. Allow me to make a humble appeal to the parties involved to ensure that we all take care of this newborn baby in our province. It is our responsibility to ensure that we support and guard this baby together before posterity judges us harshly. Let us work together and win together.
Margaret Chota, MUVI TV News in Lusaka.
Let's take our final break. We'll be back with more news.
This is Melvin.
Hi, Michael.
And this is his house. Melvin always has a lot of people over. Friends, friends of friends, friends of friends of friends. Everybody loves Melvin. And you wonder why. What is it about Michael? Sorry, Melvin. Probably his Airtel 4G Smart Box. 4G speeds for your home and office. Connects up to 32 devices.
And finally, Kankoyo area member of Parliament Hudson Mabeta says the increasing of constituency development fund CDF will improve sports activities across the country. Speaking with MUVI TV News in an exclusive interview, Mabeta says in his constituency major tournaments for sports activities were funded through his pocket, a situation that is expected to change. He notes that through CDF more talents will improve both in rural and urban areas.
Court, the tennis court, the football pitches, there is water education system to ensure that these sports facilities are maintained. So there are a lot of projects in the CDF which are being proposed. Otherwise, I can't preempt anything because the final selection will be done on Friday. You have to look at priorities also. So we ensure to say we balance. We are looking at in each ward, which one is urgent, which one is going to impact positively both the community and creating short-term employment. But sports being a recreation center becomes a critical point of, social life, because where there is no social life, we end up just in drug abuse. So we're trying to create an environment where our people in the
And finally, Chipolopolo striker Lamek Banda has become the latest player to make a big European move after joining Italian Serie A side US Lecce. Banda becomes the first Zambian player to sign for an Italian top-flight side from Israeli outfit Maccabi Petah Tikva. The club announced on its website that Banda had been signed on a 4-year deal. Other Zambian players to have made European moves during the current window are Klings Kangwa for Red Star Belgrade in Serbia, Miguel Chaiwa for BSC Young Boys, Prince Mumba for Istra, Croatia, and Albert Kangwanda for HNK Gorizia, Croatia. Emmanuel Mayuka and Nathan Sinkala are some of the Zambian players to have polished their career through Israel. And on that sports item, we end the news. But before we go, we look at the headlines. Census up to test enter day 2. Mbala, immigration intercepts 51 Ethiopians. Expert calls for increased new energy investments. CDF increment to benefit sports, Mabeta. And finally, Lamek Banda make historic Serie A move. Well, thank you so much for having joined us for the MUVI TV News. On behalf